I want to get into what's going on in Washington because people outside of the bubble of D.C. are having a hard time understanding what on earth do the Democrats think that they're going to accomplish by going after the president.
You know, it is really frustrating because while they're doing this inquiry, not a proceeding, but an inquiry, and not taking a vote in the House, what they're doing is not putting attention on things that need to be done, like securing the southern border, making the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 permanent, making certain that we give you all the ability to protect your privacy online and that we hold big tech accountable, and making certain that we don't have Google and Yahoo and Twitter and Facebook trying to influence voters in the 2020 elections like it has shown they did in 2016. And I don't know about you, Governor, but I hear from people every day that are sick and tired of seeing conservatives censored online.
But it is wrong for these companies to act like that they're judge and jury and they decide who hears what you or I have to say. But what can you do?
The first thing we're looking at and reviewing is privacy, online privacy. We want to make certain that you own your data online, that you are in control of what I call your virtual you, and that if you want to share your information, you give that consent. Likewise, when a platform has a breach and you got a notification that there was a breach, we want to be certain that you're told within a short period of time, that it's not 2 or 3 years later. And we want one set of rules for the entire internet ecosystem, and we want to exercise preemption.
Where's the hammer? What can we do to say to the tech companies that if I do a Google search on Senator Blackburn, and instead of giving me an objective insight into what you're doing and who all you're maybe investigating, I get only the most negative stories that have ever been written about you because Google has decided they don't like you.
You don't want to take away free speech. But at the same time, if somebody is going to say, we are the town square, then they need to be an open and honest forum with a cop on the beat. And another thing, Governor, if they're going to have, say, we're a news service, then they need a news director, just like a TV station or a newspaper that is working with content. Then they need to make certain they have those professionals who will curate that news and be sure that it's not hearsay or that it's not some rumor mill, but it is actual, factual news.
I don't think these people, quite frankly, that run these tech companies, I don't think they're ever going to self-regulate themselves into fairness. I think it's going to require, unfortunately,
this is why we're doing
legislation.
This is why we are doing the task force and working through in an orderly process and doing this in a bipartisan manner. And I think that's important for us to do as we look at privacy and say, we're going to give you, the consumer, the tools. As we look at data security and say, big tech, we're going to hold you responsible. You have to provide notice. You give the FTC the ability to do enforcement and penalties, and then move to prioritization and censorship and those things that we as conservatives really cherish.
So do you have some optimism that this may be one of those breakthrough areas of legislation where Democrats and Republicans could actually put aside all the crazy stuff going on and say, this is important to everybody?
Yes, and I've had several Democrats join me as I've written letters and trying to work with the agencies to protect our children and to stop human trafficking online.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that is, we are just working every single day trying to make certain that we end this human trafficking and sex trafficking, that we stop this transporting of individuals online. It is heartbreaking, and how sad it is that today we have more individuals on the face of the earth in slavery than ever. And many of them are being transported and marketed online.
We need to get a promise that you'll come back, because I want to talk more sometime when we can get you back about the human trafficking issue. Most Americans have no idea how
That's
widespread,
That's
how
right.
devastating it is. It is great having you here.
I'm delighted
Thank
to
you
be
so
here
much for
with
coming
you.
back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
My thanks to Senator Marsha Blackburn for joining us. You can contact her online at blackburn.senate.gov. It's there on your screen. You can also follow her on social media at Marsha Blackburn.